So now we get to the last topic on capacity. I know you guys were so excited about capacity, but it's getting close to the end of that. But we have much more fun things to go over. But capacity, our last topic, it's about the strategy of capacity. How should I expand, and what are the different, big different groups of strategies that I can make a decision on? Okay, so let's say that I have a quantity here. This axis, that's time, and this is my forecasted demand, right? So I'm forecasting that the demand will increase over time, right? And this should show what we call the expansionist strategy, right? So expansionist strategy is the one that we want to go ahead. We want to expand very, very fast, right? So to do an expansion strategy, to expand fast, I want to have always more capacity than my demand, right? So that will give me big leaps in capacity, and making sure that I always have more capacity than my demand, right? That's the way to grow your sales, like very aggressively grow your sales, right? So let's say the capacity is here. When it gets close to this, I expand again. When it gets close to this, I expand again, right? So what's happening during this time here is that here is my planned unused capacity. Okay, so let's think like that, right? We had a big expansion of the Moore School of Business about, I think, 6 years ago. 1 year before I started, it was when this building was ready, right? And this can fit, about 5,000 students, right? So imagine that we're going to have another expansion. You say, okay, we want to increase the size of the business school more. So let's build another building for 5,000 people, right? Next year, now we have 5,000. Next year, are we going to have 10,000 people? No, we're not. We're probably going to have 5,500, and then next year 6,000, and then maybe next year 6,500. So while this demand is constantly increasing, I'm going to have capacity for 10,000 students. So for a long period of time, I'm going to have here capacity that I'm not using because my building is for 10,000 and I only have 6,000 people there. I'm only going to, let's say, get to close to capacity when I get close to 10,000 students, right? And that could be a strategy that the business school could use to expand. But all this time of unused capacity means that my capacity utilization is going to be high or low. Yes, scream it very, very loud. You're right. The capacity utilization is going to be low, right? I know you know that. I trust your judgment. You guys are learning. Capacity utilization is going to be low because I'm not going to use most of it until it gets closer. So what I'm doing in expansion strategy is actually doing big leaps, and for in order to be always to be ready to sell, or to be ready to have the customer demand, I'm having a higher capacity cushion and a lower utilization. So I'm doing big leaps. Big leaps of capacity, right? And very long time increments, like every 10 years or so, right? Big leaps. Okay. The other strategy that the business school could have will be what we call a wait and see strategy, right? So just wait a little bit until the demand increases, and then instead of another building, we're just going to build another floor, right? We're going to build a fifth floor. We're going to put classrooms, and by the way, that will be the best idea for classrooms because we will have a great view instead of, I don't know why they build these classrooms in the basement, basically, right? We have one classroom with windows, and all the other classrooms don't have a window. Why they've done that? I have no idea. You have beautiful views that you could have, but no. Anyway, let's say that we have a floor, right? A fifth floor. So let's increase the capacity a little bit. And we're only going to increase after the demand is already there. So we make sure that we're always filling up those classrooms. It's all fill up all the time. We have a lot of people. So that's called a wait and see strategy. So that's basically the opposite of the expansion strategy, where you're going to wait your demand to go higher to actually only increase your capacity after the demand is already there, right? So on these moments of time, your capacity is actually lower than your demand, means that you have a shortage of space, right? You're going to have waiting lists and maybe saying a lot of people, no, you can't come here, we don't have space for you, and blah blah blah. So, what's the benefit of that? Well, the benefit is first you're doing small increments. So, you're waiting for the demand to be already there. So, it's already less risky than the other one. Imagine the other one, we build another building for 10,000 students, and then we have a big economic crisis, and now no one wants to study in the southeast or don't want to study business anymore, and then your demand actually go down. You have a big building with no one there. So this one, you're waiting for the demand to be there, so a lot less risky, and you're making money all the time because you're waiting until you have the demand to actually do the expansion, so you know that you're going to make money. Demand is already there, right? So there are two, just called wait and see strategies. So two very different ones. Here we have a summary of some of the things that I talked about. Low risk, waiting to produce, so low cost, and I have a high utilization. Expansion is high risks. I want to maintain my sales. That's the strategy, not to lose any market, but I'm going to have a low utilization. Okay, so that's it for chapter 4. I know you guys are looking for and very anxious to get into chapter 5 next week. Okay.